Somebody has taken all of Garth Brooks's tour dates, and every tour date lines up with a missing person or an unsolved homicide. Every place he's ever been. Somebody, one of these people, one of Segura's fans, came up with the theory that if you take that there's a list out there. She says there's supposed to be a list out there where somebody has taken all of Garth Brooks's tour dates, and every tour date lines up with a missing person or an unsolved homicide. Every place he's ever been. Now and I asked her, I said, is there really a list? And she said, no, there's no list. She goes, I've looked, Pete looked, like we looked. There's no list. But she said, so I started trying to make the list. And she said, and I did it for whatever, she said, 5 hours, 6 hours, couple days, whatever it was. She said, and I started coming up with name after name after name. And she said, and then her husband was like, what are you doing? Like, could you get a hobby that doesn't cost us money, that's going to actually pay off?
Right.
And so I ended up saying, wow, I said, that is super interesting because, she started talking about confirmation bias and that if let's
So she went looking for missing persons reports that coincided with his tour dates.
Yes.
Okay.
And obviously there are. So I said, you know what? Has anybody ever written a book about this? And she said, no. She's she's like, I don't have the time. She's, I thought about it. She's, but I don't have the time to do that. And she said, besides the amount of research it would take to do that, she's like, and in the end, she's like, what's going to happen? She's like, I'm not going to prove that he's a serial killer. So what does it matter? And I was like, it's satiric though. It's funny. And she goes, yeah, I don't have that kind of time. She's got like 2 kids and a husband. And I said, you know what? I said, I have that kind of time. I said, my buddy Pete's got that kind of time. And Pete's on the spectrum. You give Pete an assignment, you're going to get some stuff. So I called Pete. I said, Pete, this is what I'm thinking. I think we look into this. And he said, oh, absolutely. We have to look into it. And so we started doing research, and we hired 2 researchers to look up. We broke up the list first of all, just to try and find all of his tour dates. There's over 1,000 of them. Not to mention Grammys, Billboard Awards, everything, all the places he's lived. He moved here, then he moved here, then he moved here. I mean, from when he grew up in is it Oklahoma? Yeah, in Oklahoma, like every place. So we're searching it, and we only did what we could find online, right? Like we're not flying people out to Oklahoma and going through records. We're doing what we can.
Yeah.
And very quickly, we came up with about 120 missing persons and around roughly 90 unsolved homicides. And I am telling you, the man is a monster.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm trying to save lives here, Danny. I'm trying to save lives. Literally, like, I'll give you an example, okay? I'll give you an example. When Garth went to college, he went to, I want to say University of Oklahoma or Oklahoma State University, whatever, one of those. He went there. There was a woman that went to the same college that she ended up murdered, and their apartments are only a few miles away, and she attended the same college as him. Was she in his class? I don't know. Maybe. We don't know. Did he know her? Did he follow her back to her place? I don't know. I'm just saying, in general, it's pretty odd that he's connected in that way. And then it keeps going. He moves to Nashville. He's working at like the Boot Barn. It's like 3 people that go missing that were in the vicinity of the Boot Barn where he was working while he was trying to be a country music star, right? He's writing songs. He's trying out. He ends up getting a record deal with whoever, I forget. They put him, the album comes out, they put him on tour on like these state tour, that they do state concerts for all the state fairs. And he's traveling around the country, and there's missing person here, unsolved homicide here. Like, so what we did was we didn't just put anyone down. Like if I pulled the report and there was a and it said, hey, you know, witnesses saw a black male with dreads. Well, obviously that's not Garth, so we eliminate that. If it said, you know, if there was anything that we could eliminate it, we just eliminate it. The police said they believe that he was a gang member and it was gang violence. Well, okay, well, that's not it. We eliminate that. And we went through all of them and put together this list, and then it you know, it starts to compile, right? You start to get, well, here's one, that doesn't work, that one works, oh, that doesn't work, you know, here's this is close, and then you pull out Google and you start figuring out where he was, how close was it within a mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, you know, pretty close.
Of where?
Of typically the stadiums.
Gotcha.
Because I don't know, I can't determine where he was in 1992. You know, and if he's playing the fairgrounds in, I don't know, you know, Iowa, I don't know where he was staying. I'm assuming he's sleeping on the bus, which is probably right in the fairgrounds. So 2 miles away or 4 miles away, some girl ends up disappearing. Listen, this goes on and on throughout the years. And here's another thing that's interesting.
Is this it?
So, oh, by the way, here's another interesting thing. A lot of people talk about how Garth built this huge house.
Right.
And people are saying that he's buried tons of people underneath the floorboards of the house. You know, just like John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy, yes.
John Wayne Gacy, which I have a bunch of his quotes here. I should never have been convicted of anything more serious than running a cemetery without a license. So John Wayne Gacy was killing kids or young teens and burying them underneath his house. So like John Wayne Gacy, people are saying that Garth is burying these bodies underneath the house, and that's why they can't be found. But here's what's more interesting. When Garth got his first check, his first big check for roughly $500,000, he's been struggling. He's working at the Boot Bandit. He's trying to sell stuff. It's been years have gone by. He's got no money. He gets his first check, roughly $500,000. Does he go buy a condo in downtown Nashville? He's living in Nashville. Does he get a new European sports car, supercar, or an American sports car? No. He goes and buys, I want to say it's like 20 or 30 acres of raw land in Goodlettsville. So this is just outside of Nashville. Well, like, and by the way, like $450,000. You spend almost every bit of your check on like 20 or 30 acres.
Yeah, but how do you know he didn't already like own a house by then?
He was broke. He didn't own anything. They're like renting an apartment.
The first big check he got, he spends it on land.
He buys a bunch of land. And guess what spikes shortly after that purchase?
Murders. Unsolved mysteries.
No. Missing persons reports.
Missing persons reports. Around that area?
Yeah, of course, in Nashville. That's where he's living. Yeah.